Welcome back to Whiteboard Psychology, where we make learning psychology both visible and engaging. My name is Dr. David Zierk. I want to talk about something called the learning curve, but before we talk about that, which is going to be in the next episode, I want to teach you how people learn. So you'll see 4 lines on here with some mathematical symbols. The first step is we have to pay attention to something. Now, what's really interesting about attention is sometimes things just grab our attention quickly. You know, like a loud sound, a bright light, or something along those lines, a shiny object. Okay, grabs our attention. That's really good. But then there's other things that hold our attention, or what's called sustain our attention. 2 different forms of attention. When we pay attention to something, we've set into motion the learning process. Once we pay attention to something, it increases the opportunities to encode it. Now, encoding is absolutely critical to the learning process, but just like with attention, it can go 2 different directions. Number 1, what we can do with it is whatever information's in front of it, we make sense of it. I pay attention to something, I make sense of it. You get a better understanding of how it's being compressed into a deeper level of our brain. But then there's another form of encoding, and that is attaching what you've learned to what you already have learned. So this is fluid intelligence, learning something on the fly, getting it. Taking what you learn and attaching it to what you already know, that's called crystallized intelligence. That's the encoding process. We pay attention to something, then we encode it. And then what happens is the brain does something amazing. It stores it. It's called a memory. And there's different types of memories. For today's topic, we're just going to be talking about 2 different ones. First one is short-term memory. Things that you keep in mind for a short period of time, use it, and then excuse it. And then there's other information. Oftentimes, through repeated exposures, we put it into long-term storage. That's the information that doesn't go away. 1 + 1 = 2, for instance. Who was president of the United States at the time of the Civil War? By the way, it was Lincoln. That's long-term storage. So we pay attention to something, we encode it, we store it so that we can retrieve it. Now, retrieving something is the end part of the learning process, retrieving it. And I like to think about it as there is the pop quiz retrieval, remembering it just long enough to be able to pass a quiz, maybe what you were exposed to yesterday. And then there's the other type of retrieval. And that's when you take a standardized test, like the SAT, learning something in such a way that you put it into long-term storage so that when you're asked to resurrect it, it's there and you can pass a test. High school is a great example. Long extended learning process, and most of what we learn goes away. Hopefully we learn just enough to get a good enough score on the SAT that opens up doors to our future. So thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Whiteboard Psychology. I want to invite you to go to my website at davidzierk.com, and you can get more information about this topic and much, much more. You can also subscribe to my newsletter.